After the first few stones have been laid in the corners, we tend to extend along the sides. Usually these extensions are much longer than others that we will play during the mid-game. These first leaps outward are attempts to map out future territory with single stones. Consider them scouts. We might not be able to hold all of this territory, but these distant extensions are usually only placed while the edges of the board are still wide open. In the beginning, we might leap halfway across the board or more, but later in the game we become more conservative. As we've seen, our stones extending from a closure should not only strengthen and lengthen this foundation, but also hopefully throw a wrench into our partner's plans. Like the pincer movement, the extensions, called hiraki in Japanese, should neither be too wide nor too narrow. If it's too wide, then our partner can simply set up shop between our stones. And if it's too narrow, then we won't claim much territory. In the same way, our corner enclosures can act as walls for our extension. So a one-point jump closure shows us the direction of the most secure extension. A knight's closure also gives us a sense of the direction for the first extension and influence. Usually, when we have a secure corner, it's safe to extend to the midpoint along the third line, as long as your partner hasn't already claimed space along the same side. If your partner already has extensions waiting for you, then your own extension may be caught in a pincer if you're not careful. When extending along the side of the board, a single stone along the third line allows for a two-point jump. This would be very difficult for our partner to separate. A two-stone iron pillar supports a three-point extension on the third line. If our partner tries to invade, we can press them against the wall and capture or gain compensation. A three-stone wall is a great jumping off point for a four-point extension, again, to the third line. Remember that this is not a rule set in stone. All extensions are always judged upon their relationship with other stones on the board, called goban in Japanese. Notice that it's usually valuable to leap away from walls at a perpendicular angle. In our last video, we talked about how much space we need to make easy life along the third line. Let's demonstrate that sequence now. If we have two stones at a two-point distance from each other, with a free space on either side of both stones, they cannot be separated. If our partner tries to intrude into the space, then we block them from the edge. When they try to move aggressively with a diagonal, then we threaten to capture their original stone, called atari in Japanese, with a diagonal to the third line. When they retreat to protect that stone, then we can open a tiger's mouth shape to keep our blocking stones safe. Forming an empty triangle on the other side would be a bit heavy-handed and would leave our other stone open for capture. And of course afterward we can choose to capture or fortify when there's more free time. So let's sum up. After forming a corner enclosure, extension along the edge is usually the easiest way to fence in your territory. You cannot build a fence with only one post, but the corner and your first extension along the side make for a good beginning. Usually when building this fence, we have only two questions to consider: how far and how high. How far is decided based upon the strength of the first post and the safety of the edge. How high is usually a decision between the third and fourth line. The third line safely secures territory but shows little strength toward the center, while the fourth projects influence toward the center but is easier to invade. Which you choose is a matter of style, strategy, and skill. The best extensions are those that serve multiple purposes at once. They can build territory, put pressure on your partner, fortify other structures, make strong shapes, and further the overall strategy of your game. Also, use them to practice patience, as we are eager to leap ahead in territory, yet should not abandon our original structures. Many people use the game of Go to strengthen common virtues like patience, clarity, humility, and even intuition. By using the world which is created on the Go board, we can improve many aspects of our lives. Thanks so much for watching these videos. Please post helpful comments, further instruction, and links to share this wonderful game with the world. Have fun!